The following is an excerpt from, For the Hell of It, 13 Spine-Tingling Tales of Terror, by Cranny T. Boy. Only a handful of copies were ever produced, and some believe an original and complete copy of the collection no longer exists. I dedicated the past several years of my life tracking down the 13 short stories. My quest led me across all 7 continents until now. Finally, I present to you an audio reading of each of the 13 tales. Be warned. They're not for the easily spooked.
Some nights I drive way out to the quarry. Just to the precipice, and I rev my damn engine until I'm completely out of gas. Then I begin the long trek home. Through the desert. Toward the horizon, I guess. The desert. Maybe you don't know this. The desert gets cold at night. Before I left my vehicle, I grabbed a bunch of gauze I had stuffed in my glove compartment and wrapped myself from head to toe. It's all I had, and I knew how frightfully frigid the night ahead of me might turn. I had several miles to the nearest gas station or sign of civilization at all. I began thinking about earlier that day at the hospital. Once a week I'd go to the hospital to talk to this bird they had down in the lobby. The bird. We'll call him Petey, to protect his identity. Petey and I would usually have good talks, often about our favorite snacks, or our favorite SpongeBob quotes. This day was different. Petey had been silent during our entire visit. 4 hours I sat in the lobby just repeating over and over, "Hi Petey, hi Petey, hi Petey." Well, apparently I had been causing a disturbance in the hospital, so they kicked me out. I'll admit, I may have overreacted when I kicked a hole right in the wall of the lobby. I guess I got my just desserts because my foot started hurting just walking through the desert that night. So there I was, completely wrapped in gauze and limping like a damn fool through a silent and sunless vast and open wilderness. I began moaning out of downright boredom. This drew the attention of a couple wild coyotes who started yip-yapping and howling into the night. My ungainly forward movement came to a screeching halt when suddenly I had toppled over a tent that someone had made there in the middle of the Mojave. That someone screamed and hollered and emerged from the tent with a rifle ready to release rounds of bullets right into me. Stunned, I had no words and could only grunt and wave my arms at the man holding the gun. He fired a shot and I lunged forward in an effort to protect myself, knocking us both to the ground. Meanwhile, as it turned out, a virus had been spreading throughout the land, turning humans into rabid, feral beasts hungry for flesh and brains. They said it originated in birds. The man and I wrestled for some time but eventually ended up actually getting along. The next day we walked out of the desert and into a nightmare. We killed a bunch of zombies and now we're just holed up in some grocery store together. And I guess that's okay. Home is where you're surrounded by other critters that care about you. Sandy Cheeks.